It was just another quiet Saturday morning in the sleepy town of Maple Grove. The sun filtered through the tall elms lining Main Street. A gentle breeze swept through, carrying the distant sound of a lawn mower and the soft chime of a bakery bell as customers came and went. A young black woman named Janelle Carter stepped out of her silver SUV and adjusted her sunglasses. Dressed in a clean, pressed blouse and slacks, she walked with purpose, but calm, toward Bradley's Café, a place she'd passed many times but never tried. Her phone buzzed, a reminder for the community council meeting she was hosting later that afternoon. She was hungry, and all she wanted was a coffee and maybe a bagel before diving into a packed day. Inside the cafe it was cozy. Country music played low. The scent of fresh cinnamon rolls mixed with roasted coffee. Locals sat by the window sipping from ceramic mugs. Conversations quieted slightly when Janelle entered. She offered a warm smile to the barista, a middle-aged white woman with short blonde hair and a name tag that read Nancy. Nancy didn't smile back. Janelle stepped up to the counter. "Hi, could I get a caramel latte and a multi-grain bagel, please?" Nancy glanced at her, then down at her phone. "Sorry? We're closed for cleaning." Janelle blinked, confused. "Closed? But the door was open. And the sign says you close at 3. It's only 10:15. Nancy gave a tight smile. "Just started. Health code policy. Sorry." Behind Janelle, an older white couple walked in. Without hesitation, Nancy greeted them with a chipper, "Good morning. What can I get started for you?" Janelle turned around, eyes narrowing slightly. The couple looked between her and Nancy awkwardly. "I thought you said you were closed?" Janelle asked, voice steady but firm. Nancy's eyes hardened. "I said we're not serving right now. You'll need to leave." Janelle didn't move. She looked around, customers sipping drinks, others being served. Everyone but her. "Nancy," she said slowly, "are you refusing me service because of the color of my skin?" Nancy let out a scoffing laugh. "Excuse me? Don't play the race card. I have every right to refuse service to anyone. You people are always—" She stopped too late. The words had already escaped. The cafe fell silent. A spoon clattered onto a saucer. Someone stood from their seat. Phones were coming out, recording. Nancy stepped back, trying to compose herself. "I'm calling the police," she snapped. But Janelle didn't flinch. She calmly reached into her purse and pulled out a gold-embossed ID card. Read. Janelle Carter, Director, Maple Grove Office of Civil Rights and Inclusion. That silence? It deepened. "I'd recommend you don't call anyone right now," Janelle said coolly. "Especially not the police. You see, I'm due to meet with the mayor in an hour. We're reviewing the town's civil compliance reports, including complaints filed against small businesses." Nancy's face drained of color. One of the customers, a teenager, whispered, "Yo, she's that speaker from the town hall video last month." Janelle turned to the room. "Everyone hear what just happened? You saw the double standard? The disrespect? The way assumptions were made based on nothing but the color of my skin?" Heads nodded. Phones kept recording. Nancy stammered, "Look, I didn't mean anything. I have black friends." "Please," Janelle interrupted. "Don't. You've already said enough." By that evening, the video had gone viral across Maple Grove's Facebook pages and local news feeds. Comments poured in, some defensive but most outraged. Black residents shared similar stories, about being watched in stores, followed, questioned. The mayor called an emergency meeting. Nancy was suspended pending investigation. But something even bigger happened. Janelle's next community council meeting tripled in attendance. She proposed mandatory anti-bias training for all business owners applying for town grants. She pushed for a local safe spaces initiative where minority customers could report discriminatory treatment without fear. The same cafe that denied her service was now the subject of boycotts and national attention. In just one day, a woman who was told to leave quietly became the reason an entire town had to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Change was finally beginning to take root in Maple Grove, but just as change began to take root, a troubling letter arrived at Janelle's office. No return address. No name. Just 6 words scrawled in black ink. "You should have stayed in your place." Was it a threat? A warning? Or something worse? The letter sat on her desk like a snake in the grass, unassuming, quiet, but venomous in intent. 6 words scratched across cheap stationery. "You should have stayed in your place." Janelle Carter stared at it, jaw tight. The late afternoon light filtered through the blinds of her downtown office. Outside, birds chirped and cars passed like any normal day. But inside, The air had shifted. For weeks, she had led Maple Grove's racial equity push with poise. Mandatory training for small businesses had begun. Anonymous complaint lines were receiving calls. The story of the café incident had inspired neighboring towns to examine their own policies. But not everyone was pleased. Janelle picked up the letter again. No return address. No fingerprint smudges. Just that message. A whisper that echoed an old American threat wrapped in polite words. Know your place. She exhaled slowly. Then picked up her phone. Detective Hill? I need to report something. The investigation revealed the letter had been slipped under her door late at night. No security footage. No witnesses. Just silence and fear. And then came the emails. Then the fake complaints. Then the vandalism, her car keyed in broad daylight with the words troublemaker etched on the hood. Her assistant urged her to take time off. Her brother Marcus begged her to lay low. But Janelle refused to back down. I didn't start this fight, she told the town council, but I will finish it. Not just for me. For everyone who's ever been told they're not welcome. She requested increased security at council meetings. She doubled the community outreach efforts. She met with churches, schools, and youth groups, empowering them to speak up. And then she did the unthinkable. She called a public town hall. One where the entire town would be invited. One where victims of discrimination could speak. One where silence would no longer protect the guilty. The night of the event, the community center overflowed. The local news station set up cameras. Folding chairs lined every inch of the hall. At the front, under warm stage lights, stood Janelle, composed, unshaken. She welcomed everyone, then stepped back. One by one, people came forward. A teenage girl shared how she was followed around the pharmacy, just to be sure. An elderly black veteran recalled being told to go back where he came from at the grocery store. A local pastor tearfully described how his church was denied a building permit 3 times, until a white pastor requested the same lot and was approved within a week. The room grew heavier with each voice. It's truth. And finally a figure rose from the back. It was Nancy, the same cafe owner who had refused Janelle's service. She stepped forward, clutching a piece of paper. Her voice trembled. I came here tonight, not to defend myself, but to apologize. Not just to Janelle but to this entire town. I thought I was being polite, professional. But I see now. I was just being comfortable. In a system that never made space for you. A hushed gasp. Janelle didn't smile, but she nodded. That was enough. Following the town hall, something shifted, truly shifted. Policies weren't just being passed. They were being enforced. Within 2 months, the Safe Customer Pledge was adopted by over 70% of local businesses. A scholarship fund in Janelle's name was launched for Black and brown students pursuing public service careers. A retired white police chief, moved by the stories, donated $50,000 to support a local diversity training nonprofit. And most importantly, the town council voted unanimously to create a permanent office for equity and justice, with Janelle as its founding director. But the story didn't end there. One morning, Janelle stood in front of Bradley's Cafe. The same cafe that once turned her away. Now, it was under new management. The sign had changed. The menu too. But what really mattered were the faces inside, Black baristas, Latino staff, an inclusive culture pulsing through its walls. Janelle walked in. The young woman behind the counter lit up. Director Carter. Your usual latte. She smiled. Yes, please. And thank you. As she took her seat by the window, sipping her coffee, Janelle looked out at the street, Main Street. The same place that once whispered you don't belong here. Now it spoke louder. You built this. Her phone buzzed. A new email. Subject line, Community Equity Summit, Keynote Speaker Invite. She grinned. Just then her assistant rushed in breathless. Hey, you might want to see this. She turned her phone around. A second anonymous letter. Only this time, it didn't threaten. Read. You made me see myself. Thank you. No name. Just hope. The victory wasn't loud. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. Because real change doesn't always come in courtrooms or elections. Sometimes it comes in coffee shops. In letters. In one woman refusing to sit down when told to. And Janelle Carter? She didn't just stand. She lifted a whole town with her. If this story resonated with you, share it. Let's keep the conversations going until every town becomes a safe town. Subscribe for more stories that inspire justice and celebrate resilience. Because one voice can spark change, but a community? It can transform a generation.